with whom did you vibe very well on the sets? Like a male co-star and a female co-star. Who were the people that you vibed with?
So I never had problems with any of my co-stars. But today also, if I meet them, I could have who could I have a conversation with? I could easily have a conversation with Kajal, Ravina, Shilpa, Urmila when I meet up also. I mean,
All the 90s beauties.
even Karishma at that time on the sets, maybe not that much. Tabu, of course. I'm a fan of Tabus also. So from Hum Saath Saath Hai, Neelam, so all my co-stars where the women are concerned, I'm very friendly with them today also. Sometimes we have grown friendlier later on after we've stopped working, but it's lovely, like, because if it is Karishma and Ravina, we have kids that are similar age group, and they connect, and so but on the set, definitely I could have a conversation with most of my co-stars, like if they're thinking co-stars, which were Saif, Amir, Shah Rukh, Ajay Devgan. I did a lot of films with him. I could always have a conversation with them. I grew to like Salman later. I mean, it was a process. At the time of Hum Saath Saath Hai, I don't think we were.
But did you?
Let me put it mildly, we were not best of friends.
Okay. What happened? He's
it
very
is not
different personality, right?
He's a different kind of a person, and I've grown to appreciate that side of him later on, and there is that side to him. Also, everybody is different. I felt that he was kind of I don't know if that's the right way to put it, and I'm not trying to be diplomatic. I just don't know how to explain it.
Okay.
But there are two sides to Salman, and you can either love him or you will hate him. And at that point of time, I was not fond of him when I was doing Hum Saath Saath Hai. I mean, I have had my close-ups that we are doing when he's standing behind the camera and making faces at me. But that was Salman. He's a prankster. He's like a child. Okay. But at that point of time, I was most offended that what is this behavior? And like, I'm not even going to talk to you, this behavior. But as I got to know him more and more, and you realize that he is like a child, and everything is to extremes,
Okay.
So if he's caring about you, he'll care about you to another extreme. And suddenly, I mean, for the same person who's making faces behind the camera is the same person who has made 2 trips maybe to New York, where I'm there to see if I'm being, and if I'm okay in my illness, and for the fact that he would call up and check with Goldie, my husband, and say, are you sure you've got the right doctors? I think you should get in touch with these doctors also. Sending the names that, okay, I know you've got her here, but maybe you should talk to these people also. Just being so invested in wanting to know that, is he doing it correctly? Where I felt that he took it as कि इंडस्ट्री की हम ये जो इंडस्ट्री के लोग हैं, this is a fraternity, and he suddenly turned into something like an elder person in the fraternity who was saying, are you sure you've touched all the bases, you've checked all the boxes, you've ticked them all? And then once he was convinced that we had done what is the best option at this point, he was calm about it. But to do that just showed how sensitive and caring he is. So I'm not trying to be politically correct. I've had my issues with him, but I've grown to understand that side of him.
Who's the other prankster in the industry?
See, Ajay Devgan, he's a huge prankster.
See, his personality is everybody.
Is very, because he's poker-faced.
Yeah, so nobody would know that
he is. Yeah.
So he does pranks on people.
Yeah, he does. But it's been a while since I've worked with all these actors.
Because one would think between Kajal and Ajay that Ajay is the quiet one and she's the prankster. Because she's like
he's more of a prankster, but he does it quietly. And she's just
in your face talking. So you think वो बड़बड़ करती है और ये quiet है. नहीं,
so I haven't worked with Kajal, but I have worked with Ajay, and that's how I know Kajal. And my first movie with Ajay was Dil Jale. That's where I met Kajal, and she was on the outdoor, and we were shooting for the thing, and that's where we hit it off. And
how was Sarfarosh like? Because when you were acting there, did you know at that time that it's going to become such a big thing?
No.
Yeah.
I used to also laugh and tell John that John, I mean, so in Sarfarosh, today we talk about Sarfarosh so much, but at that time and after Sarfarosh was released also, even though it did so well, I remember a lot of film journalists or reviewers or whatever you would call them. At that time it was quite mixed up, the whole thing, did say that, oh, it was Amir's film, which it was, and that's not to be spoken about because there was barely a role in it. And I remember laughing with John always and saying, yeah, I'm the comic relief in the film, and because, but the fact is that Sarfarosh wouldn't be Sarfarosh, it would be a documentary if it was not for this human angle to it.
Yeah.
So yeah, today, but it's funny when you look back in retrospect, when you look back and you say at that point it was nothing. What I had done was literally, for all those people, it was nothing. So big deal in that sort of a zone.
But it's
and
such a relief
today
to have
it
you
is
there.
something that everybody talks about.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by perceptions in the industry and the perceptions in outside.
Yeah.
What is the how liked are you in the industry is a totally different ball game from how liked are you.
It's quite interesting,
outside.
right? That
Yeah.
how the dichotomy in this two things. Acha, tell me, all these, the Khans that you've acted, I just noticed you're taller than all of them, right?
Not really. I do. I'm wearing heels also. But yeah, and that was when John told me that I want you to audition, and I was like, I'd never heard of. I mean, we did audition at that point of time, and I had done ad films with John, and that's why John wanted me in this role. Because if you see, before Sarfarosh, it was more about how I looked, and that was what it was. And when John came to me with that role and he was insisting on it that I want this girl, is because John had seen me on the sets of ad films where I was me. And there was a side to me that he had seen, and he said, I want this girl. And so he said that, I want something, I'll tell you the story. And John, being secretive, didn't want to tell the whole story. But he said, but it will be interesting. And I loved it. I had really enjoyed working with John on his ad films also. It was a great set to be on. So I was open to, I was like, okay, whatever you're working on, I'm happy to work on it. And he said, I want to audition. And I said, what do I do? I mean, you went for auditions when you did ad films. So I remember from college and all, one would go for auditions and you got that thing. So I said, John, because filmmakers at that time, directors didn't audition. But
Really?
I thought that, yeah, John must be an ad filmmaker and he has used to it. So he's saying, John, you're still the ad filmmaker. You want an audition. And I said, okay, and we'll come. And then when we did it and realized that he just wanted me and Amir to stand together and see if when you shoot, how is it going to look? Is this pair going to look okay?
But why are people resistant to taller actresses and male actors should be?
I think we should ask the society that, no?
Did it matter to you, or did it matter to the actors you think you acted with?
Not really, because it didn't matter to Amir. We were very much in this together, and look at the role Sarfarosh has done really well. But I think it was more like, I don't think it's just about the height. It just depends on, is it portraying what you want this couple, what is the story that you want to portray, and is that falling into place? So I'm okay with that.
So you acted with Govinda, and there was one more actor
Sunny
that I was
Deol.
there, Sunny Deol.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they are a few years before these guys, like the three
Yes.
of them. They came in or almost the same
Sorta.
time, I think.
I think Shah Rukh was at the beginning at that point. I mean, I remember when we were shooting for English Babu Desi Mein, he was still shooting for
And he was doing TV at the same time.
What is the
Shah Rukh
film Dilwale Dulhania. He was
Dilwale.
still shooting for it. So Bazigar had just about released, and he was still
Not yet the phenomenon that he became.
yeah, he was still the actor, and he was a thing, but he was not that at that point of time yet. Yeah. So other than that, all the others were very much my seniors. Yes.
They were much. I mean,
Yeah.
Govinda had also, I think, established
Yes,
himself
totally,
by then.
totally. Yeah. Shah Rukh, Saif were still the newer versions. I mean, for me, Shilpa was a film older than me. Bazigar had released, and my first film when I was shooting for was Shilpa's second film. So most of the girls that we talk about were also had
you
been
came
there
from the
before me.
modeling world. Shilpa also came in, I think, from the modeling world, didn't she?
I don't know actually.
No,
I don't
okay.
know.
But
I
there
had
were
not
quite a few
really done
people.
ramp shows.
Huh.
When I started modeling was
Photo
the time when advertising changed, and they
okay.
started telling little stories.
Tell me about the Nirma story. Everybody
Oh my
remembers that.
So Nirma was a brand that I signed because I always felt that there was another brand which was really popular, which would sign on, and so-called only the creme de la creme and those actresses, and that was the brand to be in, the soap brand. And everything worked around that. You got that brand, you got these awards, you got these certain things, and it was a done deal. That was the I didn't get that, and I thought I deserved it, but I didn't get it. And so I said, you know what, let it be. I was about to use the
That's okay.
yeah. I said, you know what, let it be. So what, I'll do another soap brand. And that's how I did Nirma. I really didn't expect Nirma to be what it was. But I must say that now when I look back at it, the fact that I didn't get that other brand, this other brand got created in that sense, it became the thing it was.
Because
so I always say their loss.
Because it was, lots of PR companies will advise big stars that don't endorse a middle class product.
Okay.
Endorse a super luxury, even if it's a washing powder or a toothpaste.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah. So
But we didn't have PR companies at that point of time.
At that time, it was like that. Today, you'll find the biggest of big stars advertising for even a laxative.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I'm not naming, but you're figuring out what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Or a hair oil.
Yeah.
Can you imagine 20 years back, those same actors who were at their peak going hair oil?
No. I had done all the hair oils and hair products and everything.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but
you
this
were
soap
quite
thing, I'm telling you,
adventurous.
yeah, but it was like this, I had nothing. I was an outsider. Now that's the word that people use, but that is the fact. I was the outsider, and I was just carving. If this is not what I'm getting, but this is where I am. How do I do it then? So it was not like I started doing it because I didn't have a choice, because that place was taken. There were places that were taken, so I was just creating new places for myself.
You also did language films. You went to Telugu, Tamil.
Yeah, another term that is so happening nowadays, pan-India star. But yeah, I have done Telugu, Tamil, Kannada, and I've done a Marathi film. No, I don't. So I did films in all these languages. I did a film in Marathi also. Though Marathi is my mother tongue, because I'm a Maharashtrian, but I'm not brought up in Maharashtra.
Where were you brought up?
So my father was in the central government services. So I've traveled from Nepal to Chennai. I have traveled and lived all across the country.
Okay.
So I remember being more comfortable with English and Hindi than with Marathi. Marathi was something that was spoken at home, and wherever we were, in whichever part of the thing. And if I said that, okay, like if I was in Bangalore, and if I call the vegetable, if I would say the Kannada name for it, then
Kanda, you would say instead, because Marathi is Kanda.
No, I wouldn't. If I said pyaz, it would be okay.
If
when
it
you're
was
talking
in
in
Bangalore,
Marathi,
Nirudi, you would say
something. I various things. Or if I use that language, and even if I asked a question in Hindi, I was always given a reply in Marathi, and that's how I learnt the language. It was my parents' way of seeing that we learnt the mother tongue, and so for me, even today, I mean, I can speak the Marathi because if you didn't pronounce something well, it was pointed out and said, this is not the way you pronounce it.
Okay.
So my pronunciation might be well, but I don't think in Marathi.
In Marathi, okay.
And also what that did was it exposed me to this rich legacy of storytelling. And not just through Marathi literature and books, but because also my parents would listen to, because when we traveled, for them, they were carrying their culture with them. So you had all these various tapes with there's this oral storytelling in a song form and all of that.
Yeah.
And that would be played at home. So you learnt all these stories because it was going on in the background. And, today when somebody speaks about something and you say, yeah, and I'm like, how? I have never read about, how did you know it? It was because it was being played and my parents were listening to it, or music that they were listening to. So, again, like I said, words and language is just so beautiful.
But it's like when you wear that Marathi sari, the way you wear it, I mean, nobody even guess. Like, you're so typically Maharashtrian.
But the genes are Maharashtrian, my parents are, and so that's how they have passed the looks on, and that's how it is. So yeah.
What was it like when you met Goldie? You were very young. Were your parents okay with that? Because he was not a Maharashtrian.
Yes.
And he's like a Punjabi, right?
Yes.
Behl is a Punjabi.
He's Punjabi.
So was that okay? Were they okay with that?
This is a
initially?
funny story. I met Goldie on the first film that I had signed, which was Naraz with Bhatt Saab. And Goldie lost his father when he was 15, and he was he'd completed the film that had happened, and you had to keep the production house going, which meant you had to work. And so Bhatt Saab was supposed to direct a film for his production house, and they were writing the script. So I was shooting with him on an outdoor, and he was there that once we finished shooting, we would shoot for 8 hours, and then Bhatt Saab would sit with his writers and be working on the next project that he was supposed to do. And that's where I met Goldie and his sister Shrishti, and so they would come on the set, and I was reading, and he would come and want to start a conversation, and I was like, who is this person and why is he so irritating? It started from there because I'm reading, and he was constantly trying to have a conversation.
He was trying to hit on you
Thank
even
you.
then.
Yeah, I was reading, and I was like, yeah. But slowly, eventually I ended up doing the film, which was called Angare. And,
He was what, in AD at that time, or no?
He was,
Or he was producing?
because there was no option, You had to, that's how you ran the house.
That production house, I think...
Is Rose
the
Audiovisuals,
film-
which was started,
I
Rose
remember
Movies.
Kasme Wade was with that. That's
Yes.
how I remember. That's the only thing I
Javani
remember.
Divani, The Train,
Oh, that
Kasme
Ranbir
Wade.
Kapoor and
Yes.
Babita, right? Javani,
No,
Jaya Bhaduri.
Jayaji, yes.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
remember that film.
All the most fantastic music, yes, and so that was the production house. But Goldie was 15 when he lost his father suddenly, so it was quite a shock. And he was the male child in the Punjabi household, and he and his sister Shrishti were the elder ones in the family and had to take that over. So you just started working because that was what it was. So that's the other side. When people talk about insiders and outsiders, it's really not so compartmentalized.
He was an insider, but he had to, start
Most
all over
insiders
again.
do, actually. They just have different kind of challenges.
Yeah.
They do. They have their own challenges.
Yeah.
So
I can
for me, I
imagine.
could see it as an outsider. I got married to the so-called insider, so I have I would say, a bird's eye view on the different aspects of it.
So it was love at first sight for him?
No,
or
maybe for him. I don't know, that you'll have
Not
to ask
for you?
him. No. But, I was also not that kind of person who... I think life had been like that. And what you realized in life is that it's never so sudden. Whatever is quick and sudden goes away that fast also. And I took my time on it because you need to know the person. And there was attraction, I'm sure, because you cannot deny that. We wouldn't be where we are today if that attraction wasn't there. But it was not some love at first sight. I would say there was attraction at first sight. Yeah, that would be the right way to put it. And then I did the movie. He had multiple actresses who had dropped out of the film, and he was stuck, and then they came to me and I said yes to do it. And I was very friendly with Shrishti, his sister, and then I became friends with him. So with Goldie, it was, who is this person? Okay, attractive, something there, to, okay, we are working together, let's keep it professional. Oh, but while we are working, because the movies took so long to make, 2, 3, 4 years, you were shooting for the same film, so you're meeting, and then when you're not shooting, this was one set of group of people who you enjoyed hanging with also, so you became friends to best friends, to a point where he says that, we need to take it to the next level. And I'm saying, no, I have very few friends and I can't lose a friend. And I'm not going to take this chance. So I was like, I'm not going to do this because I cannot lose a friend. I have very few friends. That's something that happens with the childhood that I have had. I'm friendly, but I don't have friends because it takes very long. It's a lot of investment. And every 2 years, if you're in a new place and when you invest and when you leave, it hurts when you leave friends behind, and then you're literally like you're weeping.
So you make a shell around you.
Yes, you do. So it takes me very long to make friends. It really takes a long time. So for me, I was like, I have very few friends. I'm not doing this. No. So it took a long time, and it took a lot of convincing from him that even if this doesn't work out, if we move to there and if it doesn't work, I promise you, the friendship will not suffer. I said, that's what all of you say. All the boys say this. It doesn't work like that. I've had the experience. It does not work like that. There is a male ego that comes into play. He says, I promise you. Do you see that in me? And I'm like, yeah. That's also true, because I think Goldie has been surrounded by women and brought up by really opinionated women. So there is a way I love the way he deals with women. It's lovely. He can handle a strong woman, I must say.
Okay.
So yeah, and I love the fact that.
So how many years did you date?
For quite a few years. We must have been friends. So this is my first film. I got to know him from the time I started in the industry.
How
from
old were you?
before my first film even released. So yeah, I mean, he's younger than me. I would have been 18 or something, and he must have been like 16 or 15 or whatever. And we became friends from there. And then, there's so much that has happened,
How
and
come
we've continued
film
being in
magazines
touch.
didn't find out this gossip chal raha tha?
Because I don't think they thought they were more interested in making stories between the actors.
Okay.
And, it was not spicy enough because, a married actor and who goes on the set and, is having an affair is definitely a better headline than a sweet love story. So, yeah. And it
Oh.
was not a love story. We were friends.
Okay.
Then it turned into one. And, it was a process for us. Yeah.
So when did you tell your mom or dad, or did Goldie come and speak to them?
So when I told them about it, it was, I think, the thing that worked for my parents eventually, because as a friend, he was coming home, and his sisters, so it was all a part. My sisters knew him, so he was very much a part of our lives. So it was not, he was a person that they liked, because he is that kind of a likable person, and
they would have
they
thought
knew
that-
that he came from it was a good family, and like I said again, the fact that for me, the fact that as a friend also, when we started dating each other also, Goldie was never he was not like, you can't do this now and you can't go to this party. He was like, okay babe, I will wait for you, and I'll meet you once you're done with that. It was not like I'm going to follow you everywhere, and that was not there. And it was amazing to have a person with you who was not insecure, because when you were with a person who was so successful at that time that I was, and I was at the peak of my career when we started dating and all of that, and with the looks and the kind of attention that was given, you needed that man to be really secure. And that's what I found in him. And I said, yeah, I think I can spend more and more time with this person. And then it came to the point where you said that, you know what, I don't mind waking up next to this person for the rest of my life, because I like this. I can do this. So it was a process. It was not something that just happened.
I saw this interview.
But the question you asked for my parents, what clinched it, that, not the fact that the fact that he had been working and he was running and he was directing a film and etc., but the fact that he had written the song. So in his first movie, there was this song called Ye Hawaein Zulfon Mein Teri, and he had written the song. And my parents knew that because it was a conversation that was going on. And I remember my mother saying that, you know what, the fact that he has written a song, there's a certain sensitivity to him. I think ups and downs will happen, but he'll be okay. I think you guys will be okay. Yeah. That's what sold him to my mother.
And there were ups and downs in your life.
Of course, even till date.
Even when you were battling with cancer, he was right next to you.
Yes.
Left everything and...
like for me, when I was dating him and we weren't yet married, and, his first movie didn't do what it was supposed to do. And, we've been through a couple of times where we've been... oh my God! In film industry nowadays it's not so much, but at that time, film industry was such where you did well or ghar bikne ki bari aa jati hai. It's always like that, because the way that industry was, the way the funding happens, that's how it was. You made a film by putting your house as a collateral. That's how it worked at that point of time. So yeah, there were times when a lot of my colleagues were like, this relationship ends now. it's not going to work the way it is because you know what,
The
it's
film
not
didn't do
work.
well.
Yeah, so we've been with each other through a lot of stuff. Yes.
Yeah, because I saw this one interview which Anushka had done with Simi Grewal way back, in which they asked her about will you date with will you date this actor with whom she did her first movie, and today he's a big star and she's a star too, and she said no, I won't date a star. So she said why? Why won't you date him? Because she said we're all obsessed with ourselves. I'm a star or I'm an actor. I'm obsessed with myself, and that guy is obsessed about himself.
Yeah.
So we are like
Yeah,
that.
that's a very interesting
It can't-
point of view. Yes.
It can't mix because we'll be obsessed about ourselves.
Yeah.
And then, over the course of these interviews that I've been doing, I noticed that there are actors who are so consumed about themselves that
Yeah.
I just wonder how do their relationships work in private life.
Yeah.
Because if everything is
In
about
our
how you look,
relationship, that would be me, no? Yes.
but he's younger than you also. And back in the day when you got married, which was like how many, 24 years ago,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
guessing. At that time,
22 years ago,
22
yeah,
years
22
ago.
years ago,
They
yeah.
must have wondered how whether a younger man.
But that was the fun part of it. Everybody who was around us knew we were together for so long. I never hid it.
Huh.
I like when I was doing my South film. I remember my first Telugu film that I did, and that was a film with Mahesh Babu. It was called Murari. We did really well, beautiful film, and all of that. And I remember when I would go there, I would be talking to Goldie, and I never hid the fact that I was dating him. I mean, I don't know why it was not written about so much, or I don't know that. It was not from my side. When I went on set, all my colleagues knew exactly who I was with and who I was dating and what was happening. Everybody knew it. It was never hidden. So for me, it was not like I did my work and this was my personal life. Maybe that is also my upbringing, because when I came back home, I come from a very middle class Maharashtrian family where you could be a star outside, but when you come home, make your bed, do your thing, this is the time. You had to do what you had to do at home. So I think for me, it was easier to compartmentalize.
Okay.
But having said that, as our relationship progressed and once we got married and later also, considering, if you notice, I have never done anything with the Rose movies after Angare and after I
Why?
started dating him and after we married. But I did feel, like what you pointed out, I always felt that either we could work or the marriage would survive. And because it's a very creative line, it's a very intense line, and there's a lot of pressures, and the hours are long, and are we going to get into if I work with him and if he says something, how will I take it, and vice versa? Are we going to be mature enough to handle it? And I just felt that I don't think I was ready for that. And then now I tell Goldie that, dude, you've taken full advantage of it and you have nothing for me. You developed so many things. Why aren't you getting me something,
Yeah.
But it's just become a habit and we've never really done anything together. Then it came to a point, now he says that, yeah, but now all these years we've not done something. Now if I do something with you, then it needs to be really special.
That where you are a judge, none of those are produced by your husband?
No, not at all.
Not at all.
Nothing at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, another thing which I wanted to always
I have one
ask-
thing that is produced by him now. Finally, I found something that is very, very special and that's being produced by him, and that's my podcast.
Oh,
it's called the Happy Podcast,
Okay.
and I host it with my pet.
With your
Yeah,
pet. Okay, so
yes.
that's done by your husband.
Yes,
Okay.
so it's
Okay,
special.
so he's also involved in that because of the dogs
because-
and getting their own jointly.
Well,
where the two
I'll
of
tell you what, the point was that I was doing this Happy Podcast and obviously it needed to be produced, and I was like, who is going to do it? I'm like, can the
Can
office
you
just...
do it?
Yes, so please, I need you guys to help me with this, because I was doing it and I just need it, so I used their team too, and so they are producing it for me. That's it.
What about money matters? Like, you've acted with all these top guys.
Yeah.
They are the ones who pull in. And in those days, it was an Amir Khan movie. He pulled in the
Yeah.
audiences. So they got paid like double, triple the salaries that women got paid. Was that ever a point of contention when you were signing that, why am I being paid less than...
No, I was so grateful that I was being paid and I could make money. I came from that zone. But I would say that at that point of time, that was not the conversation, and that's why conversations are so important. You know,
Correct.
like when I say that having a conversation about the diagnosis, about the fact that when I speak about cancer and I say that, you know, early detection saves lives, these conversations is what, you know, everything doesn't change instantly. But today when I look at the girls, it's because there's a conversation that they know that, hey, I'm being paid less and why should I not? I understand my worth and I deserve this. I didn't even know that. I didn't know my self-worth because that was not the conversation. It was, this is how it is. And you were so busy working, you were so busy making your ends meet and getting that, you know, thing, that there was really no time to think about it. But today, if you ask me, I would think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think about it today.
Yeah.
That time, okay, chalo,
Also,
it's
the
gone.
confidence is there today.
No,
which
the
you probably
understanding that this is not justice.
I saw this interview with Tilotama recently, a podcast. She just mentioned that I like this car, that you'll never make that kind of money to have that car. And it really hurt her. So the next big offer that she got, she says, I was feeling terrible about it because I wanted that role, but I wanted to negotiate to make enough money to buy that car. So she says, yeah. So she negotiated and somehow those guys agreed and they gave her that kind of money. And she bought the car. And she called up the producer and said, hey, I bought that car.
Amazing. Good on her.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You understand
But
that,
that's the
I
thing.
understand that.
But
Because
that, you know,
we've
to
had that told.
understand this self-worth, it's taken this journey to get there, to understand it. So while there are two things in this car story, I have a car story which I would love to share with you. But, you know, before that, when we talk about self-worth as parents, you know, in the various types of parenting, whenever I stood in front of the mirror, you were given a whack. Stop looking in the mirror. And anytime I would be given a compliment about how I look, my mother would say, but it's the inner beauty. This is going to go. You know, I get it where my mother was coming from. She kept me grounded. But, you know, for the profession I came in, I just did not have the self-worth or understand my own value. And I felt that I undercharged so much because I didn't understand my worth. So in trying to give that's that fine line. So as a parent, where is the fine line where I want my child to be grounded, yet I want him to have the confidence to get what is his worth? That thin line is so difficult to come by. And
That's
you know,
true.
that was the thing.
Because I don't remember our parents ever saying to us, oh, wow, that's so good.
And especially as girls.
As girls.
You know, they just prepared you for a life. Though my mother, who had not gone out and worked and ran the house, always said that even if you marry the richest person in the world, I want my daughter to be working. You cannot get married unless you're earning your own money.
Me too.
And she said that tomorrow, if you don't want to do it, I would still not be happy. Even if that is the case, you should always be doing something. And even if it is a small amount, you should have your own amount that is financially, you should have something that is yours.
Amazing.
And that was the upbringing. And yet there was the other side where that is how the society was. And as a girl, there are certain things that you don't even understand. That's the conditioning that you're brought up with.
Yeah. And I think it must have, like, when people must have come and told you how beautiful you were, you must have thought that, kya?
Yeah, it was not like you... Because how do you decide that?
Yeah.
You didn't look at the mirror so much. There were not that many mirrors there.
Amazing.
And this was not something that
and
was...
yet I remember when Dakota had come and you were at that... you took her to a mandir.
Yeah.
And entire social media saying, Dakota kya cheez hai, apni Sonali.
No way, nobody said that.
101%
Smita, you're being very kind to
Sonali.
me.
I'm not. I'm telling you honestly. If I ask the guys out here, they'll also tell me the same thing out here. Is it or not? Okay, Naman is like, he's got this massive size admiration for you. I'm not going to say crush and make him feel all embarrassed and pink. But it's true. I think all social media was like, where is Dakota? And I'm a big Dakota fan.
Yeah.
So I was like, but
She's
both
so
of
pretty.
you...
And she's such a lovely person.
Really?
Yeah. But
Okay.
see, again, you never know what is coming on in life. I mean, it was my yoga teacher who tells me that, somebody's coming in and they want to be taken to a few temples. Will you do this? I'm like, okay, who is it? And that's how I get to know. So that's what I was doing, basically.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think Chris and her wanted to have experienced the temples. And I think that's an experience everybody should have at some point. And so it was lovely.
Siddhivinayak? No.
With her, we did the earlier night before everybody got to know we had done Babul Nath.
Okay.
And with Chris and her, and then the next day was Siddhi Vinayak. Yeah.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right. But you've also done the Michael Jackson Tika thing, no?
Yeah, and I think.
How old were you? Yeah, you must have been 19 or
But
20.
I don't know why I did that. They told me that, you need to come and do that and be it. And somebody who got in touch with me, I can't even remember that. I think it was Sharmila, Raj's wife Sharmila, because Sharmila's mother and my Masis have been friends for a long time. And she said that, we should do it. And okay, I'm
The
going to be in
Thackeray
town.
family.
Yes, so she had, I think she got in touch and said that. And we said, okay, let's do it. And it was just about that. And I was like, okay, but then I want great tickets for the show and all of that with my friends. So I did it because I was getting these tickets to where I could take my friends and go to the show.
to Michael Jackson.
My sister's friends and all of that. And this whole bunch of us. And we had this great seating and all of that. That's what I was so excited about when I did it.
So I
That's
have to
all it
ask
was.
you that because that video went viral recently. I can't show it because we don't have the rights to it. But where you turned and looked at Raj and then it went viral on social media ki ye 20 years ago he had a crush on Sonali. And
Did
things
he?
like-
I
Yeah.
doubt it, but yeah.
When you turn, I think he was little hesitant piche se, and it was a very innocuous video.
No.
And
I'll
then
tell
it
you
went
what. Honestly, that when I spoke and I called, I was talking to my sister who was right there.
behind him.
Yeah.
But-
Not even behind him. Was it behind him? I don't know. But that was to my sister.
But there's no
who I was
gossip
telling her,
about you
just
now.
come.
So whenever there's
No, but
little bit-
that's the thing about this. I don't know. I mean, a lot of people talk. I think it's just not in a very good taste when people talk about it like that. One, because first of all, I mean, there are families involved and people involved and all of that. And second thing is that I mean, it's something that till date I've not even bothered telling this, but because we just spoke about it before this, I will just give you. Other than the fact that my brother-in-law and my sister know my brother-in-law who's a cricketer and hence used to play cricket with Raj's cousin.
That's your sister's husband, brother-in-law.
Sister's husband.
Okay.
And they always played together. Secondly, my sister's mother-in-law was the head of department of, he's taught us English literature in Ruya College, which I'm from. And so she knows Raj because Raj used to, there was some sort of, with his father, Vasu Paranjpe, who was also, so they all knew each other. And for me, the connection was that Sharmila, Raj's wife, her mother and my Masis are best friends.
Okay.
Her mother has held me 10-day-old because you know how? My mother's younger sister, that Masi. So when she delivered, they've come all laughing. Oh, her elder sister's baby, let's go and see the baby. They've come to the hospital and seen me. So literally, that's the kind of connection. But I've always traveled around, so it's not something that I know them beyond a point because I came into to Maharashtra only once in 2 years during summer holidays or something like that.
Are you a political person?
No, not really.
Not
I think you need a lot of very thick skin for it, and which I don't have.
Okay, but you are politically
And I'm not
aware.
politically correct. Unfortunately, I get very.
So there was this one interview of Goldie's years ago, which was done, and about when he talks about you. There were very few interviews actually when I was researching, in which he said we had political discussions and we agreed to disagree on some matters.
Yeah, we still do.
Keeps the spark alive, no?
That's true, but also just being able to discuss anything and everything, a topic.
Okay.
So, also in today's day and age, to have a person whom you can talk to anything about is such a privilege because, anything that you say can be misconstrued so easily. So to have this friend whom you live with and, you can talk to about multiple topics. So it's not just politics, but about various things. Because I feel it's only when you talk about things that you can actually understand them. So, and everything has another point of view, and it's great to have different points of view.
Actors, I don't blame them at all. Let me make that clear. They hesitate in taking a stand because the blowback is so much. Kuch bhi kaho to you get into trouble, right?
Also, it's not just because of blowback, Smith. Sometimes it is also because it takes away from what needs to be sometimes the attention needs to be in a direction, and that then gets taken away, and the reaction and the blowback becomes the topic, which shouldn't be the topic.
Yeah.
And that I feel is not fair.
Because you'll find many people saying, "Arey, you can make so much of a difference if you make a comment." I'm not talking about you, I'm saying generally.
I don't agree with that.
You don't? Okay.
You can make a difference. Like if I speak about my wellness journey or what I've been through in my journey of discovering myself as a person in my line of work, I can, because I have some sort of a experience to it and I can talk about it. But I'm not a politician, I'm not the activist. I have to understand, and especially when you, because you're somebody, you have a platform, then you must take that with utmost seriousness and be able to say things only when you're completely and truly aware of it and you understand 360 degree of that situation. You should never comment on it if you don't understand the situation or anything completely. So unless you have that kind of a knowledge about it, you should not be talking about it.
Namaste, Jai Hind. You're watching ANI podcast with Smita Prakash.
अगर हम उसको मस्जिद कहेंगे तो फिर विवाद होगा.
The issue is, टूटा है क्या भारत?
400 पार का मतलब ये है कि संविधान खतरे में है.
क्या हम लोग ये निर्देश देते हैं कि फला को गिरफ्तार करके जेल डाल दें?
वही तो कह रहे हैं सब.
ये बेबुनियाद निराधार आरोप.
सच्चा सुनना चाहो देखो स्मिता प्रकाश ANI. It does not lie.